I pledge allegiance
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Righty, roll call, please, Ms. East.
Mr. Boba.
Here.
Mrs. Cerrucci.
Here.
Mrs. Delaney.
Here.
Mrs. McBride.
Here.
Mrs. Mongo. Here. Ms. Storm. Mr. Ritter.
He is in Phoenix doing school board stuff.
Dr. Singh.
Here.
Mrs. Warren.
Here.
And Mr. Wood, is he on Zoom?
He will not be here or on Zoom. Thanks. We had an executive session at 5:15 to discuss personnel. And we have a few people here before we actually begin our meeting. We're going to start with Mr. Sean Whalen, who's here first, to talk a bit about how we're teaching the events of 9/11. If you don't mind getting up there, Mr. Whalen. Tell the world who you are, even though everyone knows.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sean Whelan. I'm the curriculum coordinator for social studies. And Mr. Bove asked me to speak a little bit about 9/11, so that's why I'm here. 9/11 is a difficult subject to teach. It's like any other historical event has evolved how we teach it. Our teachers are always aware of the students in front of them and the maturity and grade level of the students, and so that's reflected in how we approach it. There's a lot of different resources we use, from documentaries to pictures to timelines to personal accounts. But like I said, that really depends on who we're talking to. And personally, I saw the events happen in a classroom with a room full of juniors. And so that was pretty profound. And so over the past 22 years, how I've dealt with it personally in class has changed over time. And so it's something that we always deal with. We commemorate and memorialize the event and the people who lost their lives and the impact that it's had on our society and on the globe even. And so as an attack, the worst attack on our nation's history, it's an essential element to what we do in social studies, obviously. The other day, on Monday, Mr. Stevens got on the PA and said some really nice words in recognition of the event. And then we had a moment of silence. And then we made a video available. There's a documentary video available to the entire staff to show to the students if they chose to at that moment. Beyond that, this event is an essential element in our curriculum. It's specifically part of our core class, like Global Connections 3, AP US History, AP World History, AP US Government and Politics, American Government and Civics. And the way it falls into the curriculum is not only as a historical event, but we use it as a vehicle to talk about the Constitution, to talk about our standing in the world, the political situation in the world. So it really is one of those moments that we can use in a variety of ways throughout the year, actually. But obviously that day is so important. We make sure we memorialize it in an appropriate way. It also affords us a chance to discuss with the students their feelings on it, and that has changed so much, from students who saw it happen to those now that weren't even born. It's an interesting dynamic to see how their thoughts are on the subject and how they approach it, what they think about it. I mean, I had kids in class who had family members there that day, so that was a whole different dynamic. So, like I said, like any other historical event and historical analysis, it evolves over time, as it should, because that's what history is. It's not stuck. It's changing. It's always changing. And that's our job to...
What do the kids today think about it when you compare?
Not much. They see some stuff. It really depends. Like, I know the sixth graders have gone on field trips to the Flight 93 Memorial, and we talked about that and their thoughts on that. They thought it was, it was really important and somber to be there. And I always ask them if anyone's been to Ground Zero in that memorial. I've been there several times. And so I talk about that, and we show pictures of it. We discuss the memorial and why it's constructed the way it is. So, it's interesting to see their thoughts on it. They don't always are forthcoming, but we try to, it's a good way to discuss, which technically is a current event. It happened 22 years ago. So from a historical standpoint, historians usually use 25 years as a yardstick as to whether something is an historical event. Like for most of our lives, Vietnam was still a current event. And then now 9/11 is still technically a current event. So that will evolve over time also. So, but yeah, it's a powerful thing to teach. It really is. And I'm fully confident that no matter what the grade level, it's dealt with in an appropriate manner.
Anyone else have any questions for Mr. Whelan? Apparently we got that wrong, Susan.
It's all right. My dad used to scream Whelan all the time. So I try to temper it a
Since you're
bit.
here, and you mentioned that you tied into the Constitution,
Yeah,
I don't know if it was the last meeting or fairly recently, we had a resident here who was asking what we're doing for Constitution Day.
right.
So maybe she's
Well,
watching and you could answer that question.
Yeah, the Constitution Day is, since we get federal funding, we have to teach the Constitution. And it's one of those things that it comes up every year. This year, it's next Monday. And so, once again, there's an enormous variety of resources. I found a website today that's just incredible. And so I'm going to be sending that out for people. And it's good because it's basically elementary, middle school, and high school. It has a variety of resources available. We also found a new one. It's called iCivics, and they have a live web stream event next Monday at 10 a.m. that some of the teachers are going to be able to watch. And if they can't, we have a link to it so we can watch it later. But yeah, it's interesting. That's another one. The Constitution is such a big topic, and it's a fundamental piece to Global Connections 2. Once again, AP US History, AP World History, American government, US government politics, and American government and civics. So it's one of those things when you teach, I don't care if you're teaching world history or American history, the American Constitution is an absolute pillar. It has to be. Like when I'm teaching the French Revolution, I'm always comparing it to the events of the American and the American Constitution, which people have modeled after since it was written. And the beauty was it was written. And you can put it in your pocket, which I show the kids because I'm a history geek. So, but yeah, so like for AP US government politics, it's basically an entire unit. It has to be. I mean, it's the pillar of our government, so.
We should give, there's people that donate pocket constitutions.
Yeah,
Should
I've
we
been
give our
looking into
kids
this. I
pocket
have some
constitutions?
that we got years ago, Mr. Wallace did, and I want to replenish our stock. We usually hand them out at open house. But yeah, I'm looking into, I found one, they're 89 cents a piece, but I'm looking for some free ones, so it'd be nice to provide all the students with one.
Something state represents.
Yeah, that might work.
I'm really glad that
It's constitution.
you take the students to Flight 93 Memorial. It's a very moving place. And I've been 2 times. So what grade level you take and how often it has happened? What grade level students have been there?
Plate 93.
Dr. Singh, it's a little,
field trip?
it's a little hard to
The sixth
understand. What did you say after
Yeah.
what grade level, Dr. Singh?
I'm asking that you took students to Flight 93 Memorial.
I think he said sixth
Sixth
grade.
grade. Yeah.
Sixth grade, Dr. Singh.
So why only for 6th grade?
Yes, Sean, why is that?
I have no idea. I didn't decide that. I
Okay.
didn't decide.
Now you're Mr. Whalen. What's up with that?
Thanks, Mr. Bye, bud. And I think he asked me what I teach. I teach 9 through 12, all 4.
And
No,
so,
no.
who would have decided why it was the sixth grade that went to a Flight 93? Is
It's
it?
typically a building.
Gotcha.
I know, like the 8th grade used to go to Gettysburg every year.
Yeah.
It was a big trip to
They said they
Gettysburg.
ran out of money.
I
so-
remember what.
You went. We had school back then.
Yeah, yeah.
You saw it firsthand.
Documentary on John Adams on Hulu
The documentary on John Adams from HBO.
or HBO. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it. I own it. It's pretty good.
I like it. Yeah. No, it's a new.
Hollywood always screws everything up.
I know. I know.
I tell
Can
the
we get you a
children
cup
that
of
frequently.
coffee while we're talking? Can we get you a cup of coffee?
No, I'm good, thanks.
It's like a all these questions for Mr. Whelan, since he's here.
Keep going.
Anyone else have anything for Mr. Whelan? No. Who said, yes, of course.
Is the 9/11s taught in the humanities classes?
I'm not sure what you mean, humanities.
What-
Oh, humanities? That, it's an elective.
Yes.
That,
Is it taught in that?
there's no, he doesn't watch a film on it. Humanities is the way the curriculum, it's the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Right.
And it's a cultural analysis through film and television. So, I mean, he talked about 9/11, but that wouldn't be part of the specific
So you
curriculum.
learned about Barbie on Monday.
That's our society. That elective specifically is designed. I took the first year of humanities back in 1984, and we analyzed film and how that reflects the larger society, so.
Wonderful.
Did they watch the Freedom movie? Talk about that. The one on child sex trafficking.
No.
Yeah. Did you see it?
Yes.
They just
Sound
started,
of
so they'll be going through
I
it.
put a pull in for the Sound of Freedom if you're gonna watch Barbie, Mr. Whelan.
Anything else?
Make it happen.
I think
Thank you.
that's it. Thank you, Mr.
No
Wheeler.
problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is it Wheelan or Wheelan? Which one?
Can you clarify?
See, that's what I said.
He's going Wheelan.
I said Wheelan.
You said Wheelan. They said Wheelan.
Bye.
All right, thank you, Mr. Wheelan. Let's move on to Rocco. Rocco Matrazzo, please.
All right, so we have some extremely exciting news we wanted to share. Most know already out of Gateway High School. We have Rocco Matrazzo, a senior at Gateway High School who has done an excellent job up there, but also now can brag that he's a little bit richer. He received a $40,000 scholarship from the College Board. So we invited Rocco today to acknowledge him and what a great student, what a great kid he is, and also give him an opportunity to share out to so that we could gain some insight into how he received the scholarship. Rocco.
So during my junior year of high school, Dr. Frass, my guidance counselor, came into our classroom just telling us that we have to start preparing for college. He did it like once every 3 months. And towards the end of the year, we had to make a list of schools we might be interested in on the College Board website. I didn't know it was part of the program they started for scholarships, but it entered you into basically a raffle to get picked for it. And you could apply other ways, apply for schools, complete a FAFSA. There's a bunch of different ways, but I just made my list of schools. And then they showed up at school on the second day of school to give us a big award in front of half of the school. But it was something I didn't even remember doing. I didn't go out of my way to do it on my own. It was just something I did for school.
Dr. Frass, right?
So what do you plan on using it for?
95% sure I'm going to go to Rosedale Technical College. I'm not sure what for yet, though.
That is great. Right.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Higher tuition too.
That is absolutely wonderful.
We were supposed to ask you about your activities.
Your
Mr.
extracurricular.
Yes.
Which activity?
Half of them is right here.
Activities like outside of school.
Well, Mr. Ritter said that we're supposed to ask you, so whatever ties in with Mr. Ritter.
Well, I go to Monroeville Assembly of God on Sundays. Mr. Ritter also goes there. And my youth pastor, Ryan, we have youth group on Wednesdays at 6:30 until like 8-ish. We do that. And then on Thursdays, I go to another youth group called Amplify in Plum. And then on the 26th, we're starting our Bible club at the high school.
That's great.
Awesome.
That's great. Well, congratulations, and I can tell Mom's very pleased.
And we've got one more speaker who is Mr. Ryan Balderum, who's a youth pastor, has already been mentioned.
Yes, so my name is Ryan Balderum. I'm a local youth pastor at Monroeville Assembly of God. Rocco, we love him. He is a great student, as you guys already know. But I'm here just to talk to you guys about something that's happening on the 27th of this month. It's National See You at the Pole Day. At 6:30 in the morning, we invite faculty members, students. There's going to be other pastors from other churches who come to the flagpole located here at this campus. We're just going to pray over the faculty, the students. You know, I think about how much time I get with my students, and it's about an hour and a half, unless you're Rocco, and he's there pretty much every day after school. But you guys spend a lot of time with our kids, and we want to be there to support y'all just as much as you support them. And so we just want to make ourselves available. This is one way that we're doing it. Obviously, we're also going to be a part of the Bible Club here at Gateway. I know there's a lot of other high schools that have Bible clubs that we try to go to and be a part of. But we just want to make ourselves available to you guys, however we can assist. We've heard about some of the issues and some of the fun things that have been happening in the hallways after school, and however we can serve you guys, that's really what our heart is. And so if you need us, feel free to give us a call. We just want to serve you guys. So yeah, but 6:30 a.m. Wednesday the 27th of this month is see you.
6:30 you said?
Yes, sir. 6:30 in the morning.
I thought you said 6.
6:30 in the morning.
Okay, at the flag.
So-
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you very much. Okay, do we have any comments from residents on agenda items? No one signed up? All righty, let's get going then. Board member discussion items. Anybody want to step forward?
I do.
Lay it on us.
It is my understanding that all of, every Gateway student gets a free lunch through that program, correct? And students that go to Forbes have to pay for their lunches. And I didn't know why any of the schools or Gateway, if we get the money per student, why they have to pay for it if they're a full day at Forbes, if we can look into that.
Let me, if I can speak up, Mrs. Delaney and I went over to Ford's last Tuesday for their open house. I had talked to Scotty while he was over there, and he introduced us to the assistant director. And I had asked that question because I'd received some calls prior to that. Apparently, the students, the free lunch does not follow the students to the, like schools, the other schools they go to. It has to be here in their home school. So I did reach out to Representative Markosic about it because he says it has to come from the state level. So I'm waiting to hear back from him because the money is here at Gateway, but it's not being used. So that's why I don't understand why it couldn't be followed. He said they even tried to do an MOU for all the schools, and nothing came in light of that. That's,
It's pretty impossible to get anything from Harrisburg right now.
well,
Right, but if we're getting the money
That's a
per
great question.
student, why aren't we just sending that to Forbes? And why isn't every school did,
Right.
not just them, just not?
They gave us a reason, but it still didn't make sense. Yeah.
So, you know, I am Scotty's alternative at Forbes as well, but once he is done, I will stay on this.
like I said, that's why I had followed up
Yeah.
with that. That's good.
And has Janet received any of the names or anything from the people that were complaining they haven't received their pictures? No? Okay, so there's nothing that we can do about that until they tell us.
We can mention to the principals, put in their weekly newsletter, if there's any issues, to let them know. And then they
Okay.
forward it to the principal or Janet.
I wanted to also bring up our last game, Friday's game, it was a bit wet. And I had heard from several of the band parents that the instruments are out in the rain. And I guess I was asking Leslie about it, the pads or whatever in the woodwinds and that get destroyed are quite costly. So is there something, they don't have any kind of plastic covers for their instruments, which I see, you know, they have at colleges, other school districts and that. And I don't believe Gateway financially supports the band. I think everything is mostly done with their fundraising. I just wanted to look in to see possibly, you know, could we start pulling the band into our budget?
Sure.
So, I mean, you say sure, we don't even know what we're talking
Well, I
about.
know. I mean-
So I had reached out to Mr. Moser and asked him, you know, it's not like a wish list, but like wants, needs, but I know when they were looking at buying a trailer, there was a lot of issues with that. But they are representing Gateway.
Right.
And that's why,
You're all right. We do buy some supplies, but it's very minimal.
right.
We could reach out to Mr. Mosier. If there's something in the interim right now, especially if it's wet, we could
Yeah,
look into see if we're getting them.
definitely.
Okay, so that's what I just wanted to bring up. That's all.
Sometimes organizations like it that way for control reasons. But
Wow,
It
I
doesn't
know.
mean we can't, if we
Right.
have money in our budget, doesn't mean we can't
Offer.
buy things for them.
Correct.
We did buy that truck and trailer for the band, and paid for some things for them.
Right. So that's why I just wanted to, bring that up. So,
I would say if they have a need, they should
Right.
bring it forward.
Any other board members have any other discussion items?
Yeah, I think there's one. We should look at we're doing a policy review, the board policies, and there's a board operating policy that says there's a limit for board president and vice president of 2 years.
because
What do you guys
Mr.
think about eliminating
Mr. Bobo, I think, likes being the gavel man.
I don't think he likes it, but I think he does a fine job.
Does a fine job.
You know, you're gonna be on a new board coming in, and you're gonna have a lot of inexperienced people. Just want to get things laid out for you guys before you leave. Make sure you're in good shape.
I know, you noticing it? You noticing that, Liz?
Sorry. I'm serious. You know, sometimes board policies get made for like the
Right.
wrong reasons.
Correct.
And I would anticipate that policy was made like years ago because there was somebody that was president that they wanted to get rid of, so they passed a policy putting a limit on. So when there's like no controversy is like a really good time to fix things. So I'm just throwing that out there. Could make a motion for it.
No, I'm not making a motion. Let's give people some time to think about it and discuss it and think it through a little bit.
See, I'm not up for reelection, so I can say all these.
Yes, you can.
I can offer all these suggestions to you.
Are you
in a
making a
nonpartisan
resolution?
Way. No, just discussion items for you to think about.
Hardly anything more dangerous than a politician who is not running for reelection. Just saying. Hey, I just said I'm just saying. All right. Any other board discussion items? Nope, we're going to move on now to Dr. Rossi. You can take over bills, financial reports, et cetera.
Thank you, Dr. Rossi. Section B, financial reports. Result that the Gateway Board of School Directors approves sections B1 list of bills as listed.
Keep going.
We have section C items tabled, policy 709 revision. Policy list or leave it there?
I think Mrs. Delaney mentioned, for that would be when the new board comes in. Is that what you?
Yeah. Yep. Great. Ms. Jessel.
Alrighty. For the personnel agenda, we have 5 resignations, 7 leave of absences, multiple transfers, and then also 5 additional individuals for employment. We also have salary adjustments that have varied from what was initially submitted to the board as to what was provided when we onboarded the individuals, and then supplemental contracts and volunteers to be approved.
Thank Ms. Jessel. She tells me that research and discussion is going into supplementals and how we got to those apparently arbitrary, but almost certainly not arbitrary numbers. And we're going to make some sense of it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Are you noting my person who was hired and also resigned in the same period?
I think that's what I'm hearing.
What? Food service worker who was hired on in this agenda and also resigned.
Same agenda?
That was a floater.
No, I didn't know where the floater position was,
Okay.
that's all. No, I wasn't.
Figured you'd bring up my hot topic.
I did not.
Nice work.
No problem.
Dr. Chicky has section E and F.
Thank you, Dr. Rossi. For Section E, we have 1 conference and convention for discussion. Jacqueline Browning to the PA State Modern Language Association Conference. Moving into Section F, for item number 1, we have approved the following agreements and contract as listed. Item number 2, Sam approved the purchase of the Sam Lab subscriptions and materials. Item number 3, approved the letter of intent, MOU with Carnegie Mellon University. Item number 4, approve the following donations. $1,104 from the Allegheny County Health Insurance Consortium. The donor item, Chunky Mahoney Memorial Foundation. Item number 5, district recognize the following district booster clubs and support organizations who have properly submitted applications to the district for the 23-24 fiscal year. Item number 6, approve the display of the following policies as listed.
Item number 7, approve the school bus drivers and bus monitors, bless you, for the 23-24 school year, Student Transportation of America and Extazon Transportation Services. Item 8, award of the new outdoor walk-in freezer at University Park. Purchase and installation, money come from the cafeteria fund for the 23-24 fiscal year for a total cost of $37,841.22. Item 9, advertise for quotes for the window replacement project at University Park not to exceed $18,000. Item 10, mobile classroom, approved to lease a mobile classroom from William Scotsman for Dr. Cleveland Stewart Elementary School. 2 classrooms for a monthly cost of $3,610 and a one-time setup fee of $18,320.08.
Just interject there, that's just for contingency,
Okay.
just in case.
And item 11, approve the facility agreements as listed below.
Why would there be a setup cost? If there's just a contingency plan, aren't they already set up?
No, it's not set up.
This is additional?
This is additional,
This is
yeah.
at CS.
Contingency
Oh, it's
if we
CSE.
need, if we need to add it. Like last year, we added a classroom mid-year for special ed. If we have to
Okay,
do
this is
something like that
related,
again.
I was thinking that concept,
No.
like it was related to the building.
So you don't need us to make this an action plan?
No,
Okay. An action plan, action plan.
How many windows are you looking at over at University Park?
Off the top of my head, I believe it's 18.
Okay,
We
'cause I-
still have quotes coming in.
okay. Because I know they had many more that were,
Should be every window that was listed
okay,
should be addressed. Yep,
That's-
we'll double check that,
yeah.
yeah.
there was a lot more than 18, so that's just
Going
double
back to
checking.
the mobile classroom, now, those 2 that they're setting up, they're already designated for,
This is kind of a contingency plan, like right now.
I know they said they were in need of, so I thought maybe they designated.
Like they have 18 classrooms, and it poses some problems with specials.
Because somebody was sharing a room, and it was a couple
Yeah,
of things.
it's a little better this year. There is some space now, but if we have to add, like in the middle of the year, like we did last year, I think we added a special ed room. If we have to take a room away, then we're going to be.
Do we have availability in other schools? Sometimes in the past, if we had a late enrollee, we would send them to a different school if they didn't have siblings or.
Yeah, that's not. It's the number of classrooms. So, but they're all tight. We had it to preschool at UP. UP's becoming tight now because we had it in kindergarten. Evergreen's getting tight for Ramsey
Do we
too.
need to buy a school back?
We're keeping an eye on it.
So you're saying that's only
This is
that's
just
a contingency,
Yes.
may happen.
May happen if we need to.
If it did, when would we even know? Yeah.
We, as referrals come in, if it's a special ed classroom, we would have an idea. It'd probably take 3 weeks to set up, 2 to 3 weeks to
Yeah,
set up.
that's what I was wondering, if you know, and then how long the
Yeah,
setup
probably
is.
3 week
Okay.
lead time.
All right.
In addition, they would have to get permits from Monroeville, the location, and like Dr. Roy said, it's 2 to 3 weeks for them to get it out there and assemble it.
If that money, where would it go?
Big in the back. It's by the library, kind of tucked away, not close to the road, but tucked in inside. Yeah.
Does anybody know what our current enrollment is right now?
I'm sorry, what was that, Ms. Fucci?
What's our current enrollment at, do we know?
Have it on the phone. Look it up.
We'll get it.
Said they were tight. They did.
Are they still getting registrations coming in? Did you?
They're still coming in. They've slowed down quite a bit, but they're still in the queue.
Mr. Hall, how did you guys come up with the total amount for Atlantic Coast?
I'm sorry?
The total amount that you came up with Atlantic Coast Baseball, what was your?
Well, we had shared that out to the board in the previous correspondence, but basically it was We charge them per game.
Okay.
As softball games were usually an hour or just slightly more. We didn't prorate per hour for baseball either. The way they scheduled them, they started them on the hour and 45 minutes, so we knew we were roughly an hour and a half.
Okay.
We also included a fee for the several days where we did put a site manager there when we were concerned, or custodial people that were there on days that they weren't scheduled to work.
Okay.
So again, it was a per game fee, additional money if lights were used, and also some fees for our own site supervision. And also, if we did not have a custodian on duty regularly that day, we paid that overtime money for them.
Okay.
And that was agreed, beforehand with.
I know you had mentioned that you had an agreement. We just didn't know what the figure was. That's why I was just bringing that up. Thank you. Appreciate it.
To answer Mr. G's request, 3376 total enrollment. Yep.
Now, one other question. The Central Catholic game, is that what is that 5882? What's that all include besides the stadium?
Well, it's, we have I don't have it on me, I'm sorry, but we have I may be able to pull it up on my email. We have an itemized list. So typically what's included is the rental fee for the stadium, the rental fee for the press box, and then we're talking about the rest are all the other peripherals like the Monroeville Police, the lights we add in the stadium fee, our own school resource officers, as we're going to go ahead and use our metal detectors for that game as well. Trying to think what else is in there. The ambulance is a fee that we pass on to them. Our site manager will have one gateway person that will be in their employ that night because they're familiar with the site. Trying to think of what else is in there. Primarily, the biggest fees are really the security and the staffing for the game, along with, again, what we put in our policy 708 with 707 with the facilities rental fees, what we've charged for the stadium itself.
Okay.
Previously, just for, not to tie everybody up, but we had not rented the stadium under any circumstances. We made it a non-rental item. We shared it with categories A and B. The community groups are our own groups, respectively. But with our recent changes in having more facilities and our willingness to rent them, and also because Jen Hoffner being a district employee and asking us as a courtesy to provide a place is why we considered this first rental of the stadium.
Okay, thank you.
Will our boosters be able to sell at the concessions?
Concessions will be ours. Yes.
Awesome.
Ms. Warren, to answer your question, it's 24 windows at UP.
Okay.
Not to exceed 18,000. I have two quotes, one under 18 and one that's like 23,000. I'm waiting for one more.
Okay, thank you.
Henceforth, when we have quotes, I don't want them to be announced at the meetings because now the vendors know what each other were bidding.
Yeah.
If we have to go out and bid this, that's.
It's under 21,000. You can get quotes between 10,000 and 21,000. Bids are anything beyond 21,000.
So you're not going to announce anything that's beyond 100 or beyond
21,000, right. I don't expect anything because we had a bid of, we had two bids under 21,000.
Let's just make it our policy here.
Right.
That we don't divulge those things except in executive session. Because I don't want anybody getting an advantage over another bidder. Just so I think this came up last month too. So henceforth, when you get these quotes, you can certainly share it with the board, but don't publish it until such time as we're going to award it.
Make a decision.
Yeah.
All right.
And I appreciate it's under 21,000. I just think that's a better policy.
Just real quick, I was able to find the email with the quote exactly. The only thing that I didn't mention there's a $50 admin fee for any rental that we do. That's in there, and also our custodial. We have 2 custodians that will pay for basically, the setup and cleanup for that event. Everything else I mentioned to you.
So they will be able to, because Gateway will be playing away that Friday, they will be able to have the stadium cleaned for the Saturday JV game?
That's the plan.
Okay.
All right. Move on to, what are my board member resolutions that we're going to be talking about, right? No, of course not. Comments from residents on non-agenda items? Anybody?
Cheryl Boyce Monroeville. Mr. Dice, I tried to hear really well last week. I have to tell you, last month, the meeting, I wasn't here. I was at home listening. The sound was horrible. But you made a comment, and I'd like to know more about it, that you asked them to vote for some lawsuit that relates to
Social media.
Yes. I'm very interested in that. A couple of reasons. One, I want to know, is that a state action, or is that something at the state level, or is this is that federal class action?
Yeah.
Okay, and we entered into that along with, you had mentioned some other districts.
Yeah, Plum's in it. I think Penn Hills is in it now. There are lots of districts getting involved in it.
Can you tell me exactly, when you say social media, because I do believe it's a huge problem. Who exactly are you going after in the lawsuit, and what is it that you're looking to have happen?
It's the media giants that fund and dictate what goes on as far as social media.
Right.
Those have become the targets. It's believed and therefore averred that they are violating a lot of our principles as school districts in permitting certain things to be put on social media that otherwise shouldn't be there. That's in it in a very nutshell statement. I can certainly share with you the complaint. It's pretty thick, but that's the nature of the vehicle, the entity.
So you just want them to follow suit with what your guidelines are?
There'll be monetary damages awarded.
There's going to be monetary damages awarded for what's going on.
If the districts are successful, there will be a rather voluptuous award, I would think.
Okay, because I guess ultimately there is legislation pending in Congress now that also is going to address this issue. I don't know if that's going to run parallel. That's the future, because it's not just the money. We want them to stop doing what they're doing.
Money drives it.
Yes, money.
They'll stop it if they get hit for a huge award.
Yes. Okay. I just wanted to understand, because I agree that this has really gotten out of control. It's too bad we can't do something about some of the adults on social media, but that's another story for another day. But thank you, because I could not hear what you said, but that clarifies it. Thank you very much. Just another thing, because I didn't ask this question, Jack, just because there's so much on here. All of these different things where you have like agreements and contracts. I can go online. You have every single one of these exhibits online, right? So I can read the details of the contract and stuff, because there's only a generic statement under each one of these. So I didn't know what was on here, but I will go back and look online to see the details.
Okay.
Okay, I just want to make sure, because next week I'm going to ask you about them. So thank you very much.
You don't even have to wait till next week, Ms. Boyes. You can call up here anytime.
Yeah, I know, but sometimes, Jack, I think the public needs to know what these are.
Okay.
And so if you talk about it in a meeting, then they get it too. And by the way, I saw your picture in Pitcairn on Saturday, back in the day when you were young and in the military. Life has changed, Jack, for all of us.
Yeah, I was 17 for what it's worth in that photograph, so.
So I get a plug for the website. If you go to the website under board, then you'll see board, or you'll see policies there. And if you click there, you can see the agendas for all the meetings too. And when you look online, you'll see all the exhibits in electronic format that you don't see on paper.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, superintendent's reports.
All right, we have just a few slides to share. Mike, you can go to the second slide, please. Just wanted to announce our comprehensive plan timeline has been set. We'll officially set it after the October board meeting. So we have three dates set with the March approval by the board. We have around 25, 30 parents already signed up. We're going to send out another invite and for the community as well. We'll put it on the website, and there's a QR code there for anyone interested in signing up and participating in those 3 meetings. Next slide, Mike. Proud to announce that by earning a national ranking in the top 40%, Gateway Senior High School achieved the status as a U.S. News Best High School. So congratulations to the high school. We're proud of that. Next, Mike.
We wanted to spotlight, obviously, the students that are great within Gateway High School to allow us to attain awards like that, students and the staff. But right here, we have Bintu Cole and Bree Harper. They've been awarded the National African American Recognition Award by the College Board for scoring in the top 10% in the state on the PSAT.
It's good.
Congratulations to them.
Next slide.
Also, Mr. Hall could probably talk about this further, but we're excited about the game this week. It's going to be on the KDKA Plus and highlight a lot about Gateway and some of the game time.
Yeah, they've reached out to a number of schools in the area. KDK Radio is also broadcasting the game. Westmoreland Sports Network is going to be broadcasting or streaming the game. But the big one for us is, in addition to our own broadcast team, is KDK Plus. First year they're doing it this way, and excited that we're on their list. Our first section game, we're getting some players back. I'm kind of excited about the practice week so far. It's going to be a great showcase for the district, great showcase for the band and the cheerleaders and the program, and really excited for a great Friday night coming up.
Thank you. Next slide, Mike.
We also wanted to, we're doing something where we spotlight staff every month, and we have so many great staff members within our district. We want to make sure that we can acknowledge some of the great things that they're doing. Betty Howard, counselor at Mosside Middle, and Carrie Koonich, a teacher at Mosside Middle, they created a mentorship program within the school that's been excellent. It's provided opportunities for some of our female students to go on job shadowing events. They went to the Port Authority for a field trip, and they regularly meet with them about emotional wellness, college readiness, career expectations, and exploration. And these 2 individuals have just served as excellent mentors to our students. It's even to the point now where some of the students from last year, they're up at the high school, and Betty and Carrie are also still in touch with them going to the high school, so continuing to build that rapport. We're looking to try to potentially expand this program because it's been so successful. So thank you to both of them.
Thank you, Dr. Jenke. We'll do it.
Is that it?
That's it.
Thank you. Congratulations to those students. Wonderful work. All right, board committee reports. Who's got something? Ms. Delaney.
That's yours. I just want to say again, congratulations to Mr. About to say Kelly, to Rocco and the family, and I think that's just commendable. So I hope we see a lot more of that. That really takes a lot of stress off the families, I know. Also, I think that Ms. Warning mentioned we had gone to the Forbes Roads open house, which was really a very well attended. Had a lot of people there. And I thought it would be nice if one of our meetings, when we viewed some of the programs, like the culinary program, we could have them come over from there, tell us some things that they do, and bring us some samples. So I think we'll pursue that, just because the kids were in there. When we asked who was in charge, they said we had to talk to Chef. But they called them all chefs. But it was a commendable program, and the kids were very passionate about it. And looking forward to the Franklin Gateway game, the young man that cuts my grass, and he also goes to the Assembly of God. he is playing football, so I said I'll be looking for him as well, but I'll be rooting for Gateway. And also, today, just in case you didn't know, how many ever heard of Dr. Mae Jameson? Okay. I have not. Dr. Mae Jameson was the first African-American woman to travel into space on September 12th, which was today, but back in 1992, 31 years ago. And I guess I've mentioned her name before, and I always brag about her because we went to the same high school in Chicago. Wow. Let you know what things come out of public schools. And one of the other things that, and I always try to encourage young girls particularly, but all students, but young girls, that they can be into, they can go into aviation, they can go into fields that maybe are considered non-traditional. And this was one of the young kids' books. She signed the autograph book for me that she wrote, but that's one. And just out of curiosity, when we're speaking of first, how many have ever heard of Bessie Coleman? Does that ring a bell? Okay, Bessie Coleman was another first. She was the first African-American woman and also she was Native American descent too, to hold a pilot's license. And she could not, because of discrimination over here, she could not get her license and all in the United States. She had to get it over in France.
What year was that?
This was back in 1920, it was early. So we're talking, the 1920s. November, she went to Paris, November 20th, 1920. Wow. And she was, and she performed in a lot of air shows. Unfortunately, she died in one of the air shows, and they found out later that there were some issues with the plane, and they did not check it thoroughly to find that out. But this was always just little interesting tidbits to know. And for our young girls, too, that want to be a pilot, there's another one called Fly High. And I'm such a proponent of reading, and I think growing up, it was a whole new world. Even though my family didn't have money to send me places to travel, I traveled through reading, through the books, and I went everywhere. And then when I was able to, I started to visit those places that I read about, and that is such a wonderful experience. That's it.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Warning?
Just a couple things. Mr. Petroselli reached out to me and wanted me to make an announcement about the 2023 Gateway Sports Hall of Fame inductees. And the ceremony will take place on Saturday, November 4th at Edgewood Country Club. And the inductees for this year are Robert Kalkstein, class of 2010, Cam Sadler, class of 2008, Shayla Scott, class of 2007, Luke Noshbish, class of 2011, Dan Schmidt, class of 1986, Ralph Guzzo, he was a 37-year Gateway career with teacher, manager, coach, and multi-sport tasker, and the 1967 Boys State Championship cross-country team. And if anybody knows of anyone that is on the 1967 team, please get in touch with Mr. Petroselli. And he can be reached at 412-855-3905. And I just want to say, at the game last week, we had a new addition. We have a gator head. And it was awesome watching the kids running out of the players coming out of the gator's mouth when onto the field. But what we need is smoke. So
If you have a gator's head, you gotta have smoke, seriously.
what you do, down at Maslin.
More like a dragon, maybe?
Well, that's a good call.
But yeah, I've actually.
Who doesn't?
I've heard that for maybe.
Oh, of course. That's not what mine's for.
Love the tunnel.
What about some dry ice?
So,
I got a smoke machine.
we'll take it.
There you go.
It just, down at Maslin, it was the first time I saw like this big inflatable head, and they had to smoke, and the kids just come out of it, and everybody was just so pumped up, and They were pumped up Friday, but I think the smoke would just add a little bit more to it.
There you go.
Everybody, if anybody in the room has a smoke machine, just Halloween.
And good luck on Friday.
Friday.
That's it.
Mr. Rucci.
I have said enough.
Ms. Mungo.
I'll bring in a smoke machine.
Yeah, excellent.
Drop it off in the AD office.
I try it out before Friday just to make sure it works. I'll bring it on Thursday. Ms. Leslie McBride.
It was just brought to my attention though, at the Franklin game, the 7th and 8th grade band will be joining the high
nice.
school marching band as well. So, and Jeanette has 2 fog machines.
All right.
So check them, make sure they work, you know.
All right.
We'll get them all going.
Yeah, how this is gonna
We could
work.
do a community recognition every week. Somebody brings a fog machine.
in the fog
Here's what's
to
gonna
make it a
happen.
color?
There's gonna be so much traffic delays at the start of the game.
Oh, lights.
See
Oh, like, there's no guides, lights behind the fog that can change the color.
We'll work on that. That'll be the next one.
These are the conversations that were had, like, how do we change the color of the fog?
Anything else, Ms. McBride?
No, that's it.
All right, one quick note on Forbes Road. In addition to all the wonderful things they do with, what's that?
Is he still there?
Oh, Dr. Singh, sorry, always forget about you.
Yes. No, you may as well forget. I don't have to say anything.
Dr. Singh, out of sight, out of mind, but this is your chance. What do you have for us?
I said you can forget. Thank you.
So Forbes Road also has evening programs for actually anyone, a variety of. I've painted a car in the Forbes Road body shop, so it's worth checking out. It's a great program. It helps support Forbes Road too, so worth checking that out. All right, that's it. That's all I have. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Do you have anything?
Well, we did superintendent's report. You guys want another bite at the apple?
I didn't know, sorry. Okay.
Ms. Isha, you have anything? Jeanette? No.
Sorry, Jack.
But speaking of,
Yeah,
going into unique job, my daughter wants to be a mechanic. So.
Excellent. It's a good place to be because no one wants to do it right now. All right, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor? Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Have a good week.